My name is Florence. At the hospital, I'm the lady with the lamp, a beacon of hope in the chaos. By day, I wear scrubs, hold hands, save lives. I'm the calm in the storm, the trusted hero. People see compassion in my eyes. They'd never guess what happens when the city lights flicker on. We all wear masks, but for me, it's literal. My day mask is competence and care, the Florence everyone loves. When my shift ends, I hang up my stethoscope and put on another mask, one of shadows and secrets. At night, the city breathes differently. Desperation moves from hospital corridors to dark alleys, and I move with it. I become a broker of futures, a dealer in destinies. The same hands that cradle a newborn later accept a thick envelope of cash. Most people live one life. I have two phones, two realities that must never touch. It's exhausting, like being two people trapped in one body. One side of me wants to heal. The other is driven by survival, a twisted sense of justice, and a dark pragmatism. The Florence in blue scrubs would never admit to having that side. But both are me. Every day I walk the line between hero and something else entirely. The world only sees the mask I choose to show, but I know the truth, and I wonder how long I can keep the masks from slipping. Because in the end, both faces are mine, and both have their price. The question is, which one will win? Or will they both destroy me? This is my story, the story of Florence, the angel and the shadow, the nurse and the trafficker, the two faces no one ever sees together. My alarm blares at 5 a.m. I shed the night and become Florence again, the angel of the fourth floor. Maria's baby fights for every breath. I explain the machines, the fight, and let her touch the incubator, reminding her we're all fighters here. Later, a code blue. My hands move on instinct. The world narrows to one tiny life. Then, a heartbeat. The crisis passes. The room exhales. These moments fill my cup. They're proof I make a difference. But when night falls, I remember. I can't stay in the light forever. The line between my worlds grows thinner. For now, I am Florence, the angel of the fourth floor. It started with a whisper. I was drowning in debt, my mother's medical bills, foreclosure notices, exhaustion. The whisper came from a retired nurse over late-night coffee. She painted it as a solution, not a crime, a bridge between two kinds of desperation. But the seed was planted. The whisper echoed in my head. The world wasn't black and white. It was gray, messy, painful. I made a call. My first step into the shadows was terrifying. I'd use the money to save my family. And every day, the line between right and wrong blurred a little more. But deep down, I knew I was changing. And not for the better. The first time was the hardest. A healthy baby boy, a desperate young mother, and a couple who'd waited years for a child. I watched joy on their faces as they held him. They called me an angel. But it felt tainted. I took the money, falsified records, and told myself I'd saved him from foster care. But the lines blurred. I became someone I didn't recognize. I was selling innocence, one desperate deal at a time. The price of innocence is never paid in full. It collects interest, in guilt and regret. And I wasn't ready to face what I'd become. Living two lives is exhausting. At the hospital, I was the perfect nurse. First in, last out, always volunteering. My colleagues saw dedication. For me, it was camouflage. The brighter my halo, the darker the shadows I could hide in. Fear of discovery was constant. A knot in my stomach, a jump at every unknown call, a chill when a police car passed. Every question felt like an accusation. Every glance, an investigation. The money solved some problems, but created new ones. I paid debts, bought a house, but couldn't explain it. I lied about an inheritance. My friends were skeptical. The money became a cage. I was isolated, alone with my secret. The worst part was the hypocrisy. I'd comfort grieving parents by day, then arrange a sale by night. How could I be both? The contradiction was a cancer in my soul. I looked in the mirror and didn't know who stared back, the angel or the monster. The secret weighed on me, heavier every day. I was losing myself, and I knew it couldn't last. The walls were closing in. I just didn't know how fast, or how hard they'd hit, but I could feel the pressure mounting. Things got sloppy. The network grew too fast. I used middlemen I couldn't trust. One got greedy, made side deals. A sting, buyers were undercover cops. Suddenly, my name was on a list of persons of interest. Detective Miller showed up at the hospital, asking about protocols, birth records, security. He was friendly, but I saw through it. He was fishing, and I was the only fish in the pond. Pressure mounted. The hospital installed a new auditing system, digital, smart, designed to flag irregularities. My forged records, altered timelines, and fake discharges were at risk. My world began to fracture. I made mistakes, forgot to chart meds, mixed up clients, almost used my real phone. Exhaustion caught up. The force holding my two lives apart was weakening. I knew it was only a matter of time before everything crashed together. The magnets were closing in. I was running out of time. Every day felt like a countdown. Every night, the shadows grew longer. I tried to hold it together, but the cracks were showing. The life I'd built was crumbling, and I had no idea how to stop it. The walls were closing in, and I was trapped between them. The only way out was through. But I didn't know if I'd survive the other side. The end was coming. I could feel it, and I was terrified, but I kept moving, because I had no choice. I had to get out. One last deal, a final big score to buy my freedom. The client was powerful, wealthy, and desperate to erase a scandal, a secret baby that could destroy a public figure. This wasn't about giving a child a home. It was about erasing a life to protect a reputation. My justifications crumbled. There was no charity here, just a dirty transaction. Detective Miller was everywhere. Charming, probing, always watching. Every conversation felt like a chess match. I measured every word, every glance. The plan was complex. Multiple locations, burner phones, secrecy bordering on paranoia. I was to pick up the baby and deliver him to the client's representative at a private airfield. I felt a strange calm, the calm of someone committed to a dangerous course. This was it. One last walk in the darkness, then freedom. Or so I thought. The universe, it turns out, has a dark sense of humor. I was ready to disappear, to leave Florence behind. But fate had other plans. The final deal was set. I was all in. And I had no idea what was waiting for me. The stakes had never been higher. The risk, never greater. But I was desperate. And desperation makes you blind, especially to the trap you're walking into. The night of the exchange was cold and wet. I drove through the city with the baby in the back seat, heading for the airfield. My burner phone buzzed, a change of plans. New address, a warehouse by the docks, red flags, but I was in too deep. I pulled up. The client's representative waited in the shadows. Suddenly, cars boxed me in. Headlights blinded me. Doors opened. Detective Miller stepped out. No smile, badge raised. It was a setup. The wealthy client, the special baby, the final deal, all a lie. They'd been on to me for months. The retired nurse was a police informant. Detective Miller's visits, the coffee, the questions. It was all part of the investigation. They'd watched, listened, waited for me to make a mistake. I walked right into their trap, evidence in my arms. As the cuff snapped shut, I felt only emptiness. It was over. The two magnets had crashed together. As I was led away, I looked back. An officer lifted the baby from the car seat. Under the harsh lights, I saw the truth. It was a doll. A lifelike, weighted doll. The final desperate gamble was for nothing more than a piece of plastic. The dance was done. My worlds had collided, and all that was left was the reckoning. The masks were gone. Only Florence remained, and she had nowhere left to hide. The story was over. Or maybe it was just beginning. The trial was a media circus. Headlines called me the angel of death, the nurse's nightmare. My colleagues testified, shocked, betrayed. They couldn't reconcile the nurse they knew with the woman on trial. Neither could I. Was I the healer or the trafficker? My lawyer argued desperation, a broken system, impossible choices. But the law doesn't see gray, only black and white. I think about the children I placed. Are they happy? Did I save them, or just traffic them? I tell myself I gave them better lives. But does a happy ending justify a dark beginning? Now, I have nothing but time to reflect. Was I a hero by day and a villain by night? Or just a person pushed to the edge? Maybe we're all capable of compassion and terrible deeds, sometimes in the same day. Maybe the line between good and evil isn't a line at all. maybe it's a mirror, and you don't know who you are until you're forced to look. The question is, if you were in my shoes, with my debts and desperation, would you have chosen differently? That's the judgment I face every day, and the answer I fear is never